And I'm really excited to welcome my next guest. She is a candidate in DuPage for the County Board District to Mahnoor Ahmad. Mahnoor, how are you?
I'm good. How are you, Ray? How's it been?
Uh, Doing really well. It's always good to talk to you. And I'm really excited about this election out there in DuPage County. Tell us, give us a little intro about yourself first. Tell us
Yeah.
why politics, and then we'll get into what you're doing in DuPage County in that county board race.
Okay. Well, first of all, thank you again.
Of course.
For my name is Mahnoor Ahmad. I'm a public health director and a longtime DuPage County resident. Right now, currently, I'm running for DuPage County Board because I've spent years working directly with families, seniors, and small businesses. And I really want to bring that real world experience that I have to local government. And this race isn't just about DuPage affordability, it's also about supporting our communities and making sure that the county government actually works with the people who live in there.
Yeah, that's amazing. I mean, listen, it's a terrible career when you think about it for politics and candidates because you put yourself on the line and all people do is shoot at you, attack you, they criticize you. And you wonder what are some of these issues they're talking about when the real basics are how do you help the people in a region that you want to represent and do things for them, right? I mean, it takes a special person to want to do that.
Yeah, I think first and foremost, I don't take any money from corporations or PACs. So making that visible to the people, they then understand that I'm only want to being accountable for them. And I can understand why people say that because I don't understand it because I really don't feel that way. I think everything I've done publicly is part of my work. That's always been. I've worked in public health, managed programs, helped families, and dealt with the real life problems every day. Running for office didn't and like never took away from the career. It's always been part of it. I always tell people if you're not going to do politics, politics is going to do you.
That's true.
So, yeah.
That's a good title for a book. I know when
Yeah.
you talk about all the things that you've done over, your very short career, which is just phenomenal. You've done so much stuff. You've helped people with health, obviously, in the health profession, and now you want to get in there in politics. District 2 in DuPage County. Now, DuPage County used to be a big Republican area, and it's really become more Democratic and more diverse. That's
Yeah.
why I'm so excited about your race, running
Yeah.
for office. And just to let people know, my guest website is Mahnoor for DuPage.com, MahnoorFor DuPage.com if you want to get more information on her. Tell us, first of all, what is the district? What's included? I know it's like Downers, parts of Downers Grove,
Yeah. So
Oakbrook. Give
it's
us an overview.
Downers Grove, Lombard, Villa Park, Oakbrook Terrace, Clarendon Hills, and a little bit of Woodridge.
And this is in the Democratic
And
primary.
West, did I say West?
And
Yes, this is the Democratic primary. So yeah, you're right. District 2 has really been traditionally long time ago, been Republican
mhm,
district. But a lot of the time these they call it blue page now because it's turning really
that's
blue.
funny. I got to
Yeah.
remember that Blue Page.
Yeah.
Blue Page
So
County. All right, that's good. That's a new one on me.
yeah. Yeah. So that's what I'm about, like showing up, listening to the community. Actually, I was driving. Have you been on Lombard Avenue, Lombard
Yes,
Roosevelt Avenue?
many times. Oh yeah,
I was
yeah.
just driving by it yesterday. There was a big bulletin board about Sean Caston, how much money he's taken from APAC. So it's really changing. The county is really changing. And I think we have to, cater to the people who live there at this point. You can't have the same representation.
Yeah, and you ran against Caston, I believe, correct?
Yeah, yeah,
And it's a tough race to run for Congress because people like Caston, they're so unresponsive. He said, "Oh yeah, don't worry, Ray, we're going to talk to you." And then as
yeah,
soon as he got elected, the door's shut. You can't even get a word. He won't even answer. So I know Joey
yeah,
Roosevelt is running now in the sixth
yeah,
district to challenge him. And then if he doesn't win, honestly, it's not politics to me. I'm going to support Nikki Conforti. So I
yeah,
am not going to support people that don't support me. It's not about politics. I mean, and
yeah.
political party, right? It's about doing what the people need. What do the people want in the second district in DuPage County on the Cook County Board in that district? When you're out there, what do you hear them say to you that they want you to do, that they
Yeah.
need you to do?
A lot of people are just struggling. Everyone's on a fixed income, and seniors, most especially, are on a fixed income. But the prices of everything is going up, including the DuPage County tax, which has
Yeah,
increased. That is something that we could trim. That is something that we could work towards. Also, when it comes to seniors, there's only a small pool of people that qualify for the program, which freezes the tax on them.
right.
And there's a way to expand that program. Also, seniors are in these homes for 40 years now plus, and they're getting older and they need heating renovation. They need there's a lot of
And
infrastructure issues.
yeah, and they're on fixed incomes, right? I mean, all
Yeah.
these things that they need, they're not getting the help that they need in a lot of
Yeah.
cases.
Yeah. And as a county member, you can make contracts with nonprofit organizations to help relieve that instead of, making deals with the big contractors. And that's what I want to do. I really want to uplift the seniors of our community, and there's a way to do that. A lot of them even feel isolated. There's ways to have programs, have areas where they can come connect with each other, like cafe hours, and there's a lot of things we could do over there. Also, childcare. There's no help, zero help with childcare. So a lot of the
Right.
individuals who are going to work, they're bringing most of that money towards just their nannies. So a lot of the women, they end up, just not focusing on their career. Then they have to stay home because of take care of the kids. But there is a way for you to at least work part-time if you want, if that is something that you are, interested in. But there needs to be that liberation of, the women and seniors and the kids, being protected. And the county can be able to provide, like right now, uh, because what is going on federally, the SNAP benefits,
Hmm.
they, they, Trump put a stop to that. But the county stepped in. They had $2.2 million that were going towards the nonprofit organizations, and they really allocated that fund now that's going to SNAP benefits. So, little stuff like that can go a long way, especially if you're looking at, just the amount of area that I have. And if everyone can focus on that, there is a way that we could significantly uplift our communities for sure.
And Cook County and DuPage County are very similar. I live in
Yeah,
Cook County, obviously.
yeah,
That's where politics always was. Now it's
yeah.
spreading out into the six county region far more than it used to. And by the way, Trump did cut back SNAP, but I think it's because he wants to put his name on it. He doesn't want it to be called SNAP. He wants
Oh,
it to be called Trump Benefit. That's what I heard. He puts
oh,
his name
really?
on everything. He'll
I don't know.
destroy anything to put his name on it. It's terrible.
I I feel like for a community to really, put stressor on them, and we see that in Gaza too. First, you cut off
Yeah.
their food, and then you
Yeah.
scare them with
Right.
ice, like he's doing.
Yeah.
Um,
It's
and
terrible.
ICE is someone who's been, trained by foreign seas, and so that is something. First you cut off their food, and then you scare them, and that's exactly what he's done. So,
Yeah, it's horrible. Well, I want to go back to the property taxes
yeah,
because I know they're a big deal in Cook County, and I've heard that they're just as bad in DuPage. Illinois is one of the worst states for taxes.
yeah,
That's a whole separate problem that you can't address, but you can address the local problem in the county. Taxes are set by an assessor. I buy a house for $150,000 30 years ago, and some guy who sits in an office, the assessor says, "Oh, now it's worth 450,000." I don't know if I could sell it for 450,000, but he taxes me on what he thinks my house is worth,
yeah,
and the system is screwed up. The
yeah.
people
Property tax, yeah, it's crazy.
in Cook County, we saw them increase a
Yeah.
100%. Is that what's happening in DuPage County? What's it like in terms of property taxes in DuPage County? Is it similar to what we're seeing in Cook County?
So I agree with you. They on purpose, it is confusing for a lot of folks. And that's part of the problem.
Right.
The bill is made up of pieces like your school, the township, the
Yes.
municipal, and the county. So as a county board member, controls only the county share, which is a smaller portion, but it matters in the big scheme of things.
Correct.
It sets a tone for fiscal discipline. And when property values go up, assessment goes up, and the government doesn't hold the line on spending. Taxpayers just are getting hit higher and higher and harder, especially if they are on a fixed income. What I support is keeping the county levy flat, budgeting
Right.
responsibly, and making sure that the residents, especially seniors, know
Right.
about the exemptions, the freeze, and the appeals that you can make. And a lot of people don't know that. And the county should be helping navigate that system, holding events where you teach them about property tax and how to do appeals and if you qualify and how to qualify. Um, like data going back over a decade shows that property tax burden in DuPage has grown about 50%
Wow.
compared to the early 2000s, when, we were adjusted for inflation and household income, meaning like people were paying a lot more than they used to, uh, just to keep the government budgeting. On top of that, the typical annual tax bill here is among the highest in Illinois. So I believe it's around 76 to 8,400 for a median valued home, which is way higher nationally from the
Right.
national median. In DuPage, uh, things are increasing when it comes to property taxes, but at the same time, we're not seeing any
Right.
relief from the government, any programs, anything that where's my money going?
Right.
We're not seeing any
You,
of that.
you-
So that is something definitely to address. And when it comes to all the rainfall, we've already had 40% increase in rainfall in the last year. And that has only increased, that's only going to increase more, and that's going to hit homes, it's going to hit small businesses. And that's going to drain more of the property value, except the property tax is going to be the same. And a lot of these individuals don't have tens of thousands of dollars in the bank that can keep them afloat while the insurance company figures something out for them.
right.
That is another issue that we're having, and there is absolutely no preventative care for that.
Well,
And,
you're correct. When you talk about property taxes, the
yeah,
county is in Cook County and in DuPage County
yeah,
are a very small portion of the amount of property taxes that
yeah.
people pay. But doesn't the county control that budget for each of the departments? I mean, doesn't the county board basically tell the assessor, and I'm just using him as an example because the county's divided into a lot of these different departments. Do you control their budgets? They have to bring it to you for approval, don't they?
Yeah, so I think like a lot of that plays in part with how well you can play with the other board members and how you could address these parts. So the county board and the assessor obviously have two very different roles. And the assessor doesn't really set the tax rate. The assessor's job is to determine the property value
Right.
and what the home or business is worth for that purpose.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the county board also does not set these assessments, but it does control the county's budget and the county tax levy. So that means like the board decides how much money the county is going to collect overall.
Right.
Yeah, so when
Every
it says,
department, every office
yeah,
set is a contributor. It's almost
yeah,
like a shell game. You got the
yeah,
assessor, you got the clerk, you got all these
yeah,
different offices, and everybody passes the buck. But they
yeah,
throw it on the county board, and they say, the final vote comes from you to approve it or not approve it.
yeah,
It just seems to be very. It's one of those difficult issues. I know there's no immediate answer to it, but the
yeah,
most important thing is when people reach out to you, you're going to talk to them, right? Because that's
yeah,
the biggest problem we have. Officials that get in office,
yeah,
like Sean Casten, for
yeah,
example, and they don't talk to us. They don't
yeah,
want to be accountable. Uh,
yeah.
Maybe you don't have 100% of the answer, but you're willing to listen. You're willing to look for that answer.
Yeah, yeah. It's just about having conversations. A lot of the people who are in our county, they speak different languages, Polish, Urdu, Arabic. There's no translator for what is going on. How do we even do these elections?
Right.
We need education for these voters. The only way people can help themselves is if they really educate themselves about the electoral vote and who to vote and who to vote out. And the people hold the power. People who are in power have nothing. They're just, an illusion.
Right.
The people who are voting, they're the ones who have the real power. Once a candidate can get their message out, the gatekeepers, that's why there's so many gatekeepers in the establishment, because they don't want the voters to know, who this candidate is or whatever they're about. So once that message is out, I think that's when people feel empowered and they're able to really see the candidate for who they are. And when they vote towards something that helps them, they ultimately see that, oh, that this is they're working for me. That's exactly what they're doing. And that's how it is.
How diverse is that second district? Is it easy to get data, in
Yeah.
terms of what the audience is? And even if there's a group that's very small, a small
Yeah.
percentage, you still have to address their needs because a lot of
Yeah.
times those groups are forgotten or ignored. But give
Yeah.
us an overview of the second district, can you?
Yeah. So majority, I would say around 60 to 70% is Caucasian white. But that also includes whites, white as in
Right. Arab.
Polish, Arabs,
Yeah,
like
they call me
everyone.
white. They call me white except when they don't like me. When I went to
Yeah.
Bogan High School, they said, "You're not white. You're out of here." They kicked me out of school. I go, "What?" That was
Yeah.
back in the
So
70s. But
so I
yeah,
think yeah. So the data, you can't trust that data. That is not white, and a lot this diver Oak Brook is very diverse. I grew up in this area. I know it like the back of my hand.
right.
So I Lombard is extremely diverse.
Yes.
Oak Brook, same way. Downers Grove, that has pockets of diversity, but again, it's this district is extremely diverse. It is, yeah.
I was going to say, in our world of politics is very brutal. If
Hmm.
you're a man, a white man, you're going to be able to have less issues, and to fight with. But if
Yeah,
you're a woman, and you're a female candidate, you're going to have a much harder road to climb up. And then on top of it, being a Muslim,
yeah,
like yourself, or being someone who is ethnic,
yeah,
that adds to it. How does that play into your campaign? I mean, when you go out and talk with people,
yeah.
is it a major factor, or is it something that you think people maybe today have become used to?
Yeah, actually, every time I talk to a voter, I tell them who I am and everything else. I always have a positive experience. They're quite welcoming, but obviously there's some times that people are not. And I think to myself, oh, maybe it's because I'm Muslim, maybe because I'm brown, maybe I'm woman. Take your pick.
Right.
Maybe it's one of those. But majority of the time, I think people are very, very kind towards me. I always have a good response. And they just want to understand they just want to understand what I'm doing. They want to be a part of the process, and they want to help. They want to help themselves. They want to help me if I can help them. And ultimately, that's what it's about. It's about helping each other so we can really uplift. But the people are really, really kind people. I think it's sometimes the elected individuals and who they account for is what gets messy, and that's what people think politics is, politics. But I think like if we center people, if we value people, if we just listen to what they want, which is some relief, which is to having affordability, it'll be a good time for both, the person representing them and the people who elected them.
Well, one of the things that I hear from people all the time is, well, Ray, you're Arab. All you care about is Arab stuff. No, I
Yeah.
don't just care about Arab stuff. I
Yeah.
care about schools. I care
Yeah.
about property taxes. I care about the crime and safety in my neighborhood.
Yeah.
Do you confront that when they look at you and say, "Oh, you're a brown, skinned,
Yeah.
olive skin woman who happens
Yeah.
to be Muslim? You're different." No, you're not different, right?
Yeah. So when I have a funny, so when I was in canvassing in Downers Grove, one time, and I that was the most racist thing I ever heard. Some lady was walking her dog, and she said, "Oh, you're that girl who's running because of the Palestinian thing."
Right.
Um,
That's all they see, right? They look at you and they got one issue.
First of all, she called it a thing. I was just like, whoa.
Uh,
But yeah, it's funny because when I started running, I was running on healthcare platform, and then I had to take a stand when everything went down.
right.
And I was on the right side of history. And but people just looked at that. So, obviously, yeah. So I know
Is
what you're
that a
saying.
hard stereotype to overcome? I mean, I think it is, but I wonder,
Yeah.
in your experience, has it been difficult to overcome that? You're a health person. We
Yeah.
have so many problems with
Yeah.
health. It sounds like you're the perfect person to address these
Yeah.
health issues. And you're
Yeah.
right. The woman just says, "Oh, you're the one on that Palestinian thing." And when
Yeah.
she uses the word thing, it's just a reminder that she doesn't even know what the details are of the issue.
Yeah.
It's just
There's
some
no idea.
label that she's
Yeah.
upset about that she probably
Yeah.
doesn't even understand.
Yeah, and the problem is the lack of education. Like people have these propagandas,
Right.
against Muslims and being like this harsh religion, or even a person from, so I think that if we can teach them who we truly are, they'll understand, and they're smart people. They'll figure it out with themselves. But if they have the knowledge, if they are provided with, but with the lack of, all this social media propaganda and all this TV and all of that just amplifies, polarizes their mentality of what she thinks of people like that.
Yeah, you're not the
Yeah.
image or the icon of what the stereotype is of a Muslim or
Yeah.
Muslim woman.
Yeah.
You're outgoing, you're smart, you're
Yeah.
aggressive, you're willing to take on challenges, and your priorities local. I mean, of course
Yeah.
you care about international issues,
Yeah.
about how people in your community care about international issues, but your priority is local
Yeah.
in the second district.
Yeah.
Property taxes, flooding. I was on your website and you
Yeah.
list all the priorities, property taxes, addressing flooding and infrastructure,
Yep.
helping seniors, mental health care, youth mental health care, housing, small businesses, county
Yeah.
services should be easy to use, and there should be transparency. Wow. Those
Yeah.
are all the things that those are the basic things that every person wants
Yeah.
addressed
Right.
everywhere.
Yeah.
And
And
it's
that's what
good to
I'm
see
running
you
for.
focus on it. Right.
Yeah. And I truly believe that I can do that for these individuals. I can provide that. And when I get elected, I won't let them down, and really, show them that what the people can do when they elect the right individual for them. And then being able to prove, we're not about whatever the media is telling you we're about. We are just like you. We're just as American as you. We live on the same streets and the same houses and pay the same taxes, and we got to do the same stuff you're doing. So if it's hurting you, it's hurting me, and I want the same thing you want. We're all in it together.
Yeah, I agree, and I that's why I'm so optimistic about your race because when I talk about and being Arab, everybody thinks I'm Muslim, I'm Christian, but that's okay. I'm Muslim by culture. I always like to say.
Yeah.
I know in DuPage County, the Muslim community is more accepted. They've assimilated in a really important way. They respect their religion, and at the same time, they respect everybody else. When I
Right.
go out there and meet with them and talk with them, it's like talking to everybody. It's not like
Yeah.
they're different. They're not different. That's why I'm so excited to see you run, and it's a local office. I
Right.
think more
Yeah.
Arabs and Muslims should run for local
Yeah.
offices and then work our way up.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that at every level of government, we need to have,
Somebody.
yeah, we need to have, whether it's Muslim or whoever it is. I think so. Right representation for the people. Someone who is just accountable for the people and not special interest groups or taking any money or anything from other groups. And they're 100%, their heart is in the people. And I think that's what this work is about. It's not corporate America. You get your first job, then you work your way up. I believe that you do what you can with whatever role you have as civic engagement, And that's it. That's what you do. To think of anything like how to navigate the system. The system is made so we can just help people find relief in hard times, which everyone's having right now, and find know that there is representation. There's someone there who represents them, whether it's county level, board level, wherever level it is. That listens to them and they know that they're hurting and they're doing something about it. I think, and then that's how mental health, a lot of the struggle is also with mental health in our area. Ages 10 to 14, the second leading cause of death is suicide, and number one is overdose. Uh, that is extreme. We are the second largest and the second wealthiest county in Illinois. That is not something we should have a problem with, and when a kid takes their life, it's not just a family's tragedy, it's the whole community's failure, and that has happened twice in just Oak Brook itself. So those are measurements that we need to be held accountable and really address because people's lives are on the line, and they were talking about kids. So it's something to take extremely seriously. Being from a public health background, there are so many ways to prevent this final call that these kids are take so early on. And we have nothing for that except empty multi-million dollar buildings with no real help in the county. So we really need to address that.
So, and then another challenge that I know that exists is overcoming the establishment or the machines that
Right.
exist in politics. They
Yeah.
control things. Somebody like you comes in and says, "Hey, we need to speak to the people." They don't
Yeah.
want you there. They don't want people to vote. Voter
Mhm.
turnout sometimes is so low because these political machines, Democrats, Republicans, does independents even, they don't want the vote to grow because the
Right.
vote changes things. Are
Mhm.
what's the vote? What do you say to voters who are thinking, "Oh, this is an off term, it's just a local primary, maybe it's not important." How do you get them to vote so you don't have like a 30% turnout? Maybe you want to get a 70.
Mhm.
It'd be great to have a 100%
Yeah.
turnout, but I've
Yeah.
never seen that. But turnout is always very low a lot of times in local
Yeah.
elections. What do you say to
Especially
people to
primaries.
them to get them
Yeah.
energized?
I tell them this is the time for you to elect someone new. You've had the same representation for the past 20 years. Where are you in those 20 years? What happened? Did anything change? Did your property taxes change? Did anything in your life change? Did your student loans change? And what has changed in your life in the past whatever years that you're going to sit this one out as well? If you want change, you're going to have to go out there and elect it and find change. You can't sit back and just assume it's going to come. It's people like you who make the change when they get so frustrated with how things have been and nothing has progressed. So that's what I tell them, and they're like, "Yeah, you're right. If I want change, if I want something different in my life, whether it's, anything in life you want, you have to do something about it yourself. Be proactive."
Manure, I'm so excited to talk to
Yeah.
you. It was so kind of you to take a break from. I know you're out there every day meeting
Yeah.
people and campaigning. We wish you the best. And for listeners out there, it's Manure for DuPage, MAHNOORFOR, Manure for, not the number four,
Yeah.
DuPage. And I know they know how to spell DuPage, Manure for
Yes.
DuPage.com. Go there, get the information, reach out to her, support
Yep.
her, ask her questions. You see her on the street, go up and say
Yeah.
hi. She's always been very open to talk to people, and we're very excited. We look forward to see what happens in the spring, but I'm sure I'm going to talk to
Yes.
you again before March.
Yes, for sure. Thank you so much, Ray, again
You're,
for having me. Thank
you're
you.
welcome, Manure. It's great talking with you. Talk to
Great
you
time.
later.
Thank you. Bye.